crazy rollovers, terrifying wrecks, and even cars catching fire. Motorsports are no joke, and these are the 8 most insane, jaw-dropping crashes in history. What better way to kick things off than with F1? There he locks up and makes contact with his old rival. I mean, most of you are here for that. Which crash do you think was the worst? To be honest, there are so many to choose from. Grosjean in 2020, Spa 98, Lauda in 76, Alonso in 2016. I could go on forever, but I think we can all agree that the craziest and most jaw-dropping of them all was Kubica's infamous crash. Yeah, I feel like I've been talking about it non-stop lately, but come on, it was just insane. The 2007 race in Montreal, one of the fastest tracks on the calendar, always gives us epic races. The first of 4 safety cars came out on lap 22 after Sutil's crash, closing the pit lane. Kubica, who had pitted early, was in P5 right behind Trulli's Toyota. When the safety car came in on lap 26, all the cars were bunched up on fresh tires, and it was Kubica's chance to make a move and pass as many drivers as he could. But later that lap, coming into the hairpin with Kubica all over Trulli, disaster struck. He hit the wall at over 140 mph. After the brutal impact, the car rolled several times and slammed into the opposite wall, completely wrecked. Hands down, one of the scariest crashes ever seen. Ambulances flew in, and Kubica was rushed straight to the hospital with everyone on edge. The race restarted soon after, but since there wasn't much info about Robert's condition, they didn't show the footage, making everything even more tense. Moments like that remind you that being a motorsport fan isn't always enjoyable. A few hours later, the news dropped. Kubica just had a sprained ankle. That's it. Crazy, right? After such a nasty crash, you'd expect at least a few fractures. Just a miracle. Even though I've watched that race 1,000 times, I never noticed what Kubica does with his right hand after slamming into the second wall. Check out his fingers. It's like he's counting or making sure he's still alive. Seriously, gives you chills. Out of respect, I've left out any fatal crashes. I always get hate comments for blurring them out, but YouTube demonetizes videos that show that kind of stuff. So let's just keep it cool and enjoy the video without bringing the vibe down. Stick around till the end. I've got a bonus crash for you. At the end of the day, we all know any tiny mistake in F1 can have a horrible outcome. But I won't lie, its American cousin IndyCar is no joke either. In fact, it's even crazier than F1. The reason? Oval tracks. These tracks are arguably the most dangerous. Think about it. Those beasts flying through high-speed corners, barely braking, zooming inches from the walls and each other. Looks like a recipe for disaster. But hey, Americans love their racing with a bit of unnecessary danger, don't they? It's no surprise oval tracks usually end up with huge pileups and crashes that seriously give you goosebumps. After seeing so many, it's tough to pick just one. And the more accidents I see on oval tracks, the worse they get, like the one with Robert Wickens that left him paraplegic at Pocono in 2018. That one seems impossible to top, and it's insane that he survived. But what if I told you there's an accident just as crazy? Or even worse. Let's head back to 2003 at Texas Motor Speedway, the final race of the IndyCar season. With 13 laps left, Swedish driver Kenny Bräck was battling South Africa's Thomas Scheckter for third when they made contact. After spinning around the track like a Beyblade, the car was totally wrecked. Split in the middle, cockpit on its side, Bräck out cold. It looked impossible that anyone could survive. He was pulled from the car and flown to the hospital, where somehow he was alive, despite multiple fractures, a broken sternum, femur, vertebrae, and ankles. Considering how violent it was, it's a miracle he made it. Bräck's crash hit the highest G-forces ever recorded, 214 G. No one's ever survived anything like that. For comparison, the fatal zone usually starts around 50 Grau. His crash was over 4 times that. He later said he barely remembered what happened. After 18 months of recovery, He returned to race at the 2005 Indy 500. After that, he shifted focus to other races. I'm so glad safety has come such a long way that drivers can survive crashes as insane as that. And it keeps getting better. You know what other sport really tests safety day in and day out? WRC? If oval tracks aren't my thing, it's not like I'm jealous of rally drivers either. Driving a wild beast on roads you've never seen, surrounded by trees, bumps, and cliffs, while someone yells at you about the next turn. No thanks. But seriously, mad respect to those guys, especially after crashes like Ott Tänak and Martin Gervais in the 2020 Monte Carlo rally. It had everything risky about rallies in one go. Snow, wet track, freezing temps, trees everywhere, and a huge drop if you mess up. Tänak went full throttle, took a corner too wide, lost control, and fell off the edge. The car rolled and smashed into trees, completely wrecked. But somehow, Tänak and Gervais walked away fine. The roll cage basically saved their lives. The worst thing in any accident is getting launched into the air and slammed into the ground like a rag doll. Nobody wants to see that. But if there's one place where we've seen some insane accidents, it's Le Mans. It's one of the fastest tracks in the world, and we've literally seen cars fly. In 2011, less than an hour into the race, Alan McNish was fighting for the lead in LMP1 class when he tried to pass on the inside and went flying into the barriers. Seeing the car totally wrecked and debris flying toward spectators was terrifying. Somehow, McNish walked away unharmed. Huge credit to modern safety. Photographers and marshals behind those barriers were unbelievably lucky that day. Hopefully, changes have been made since then to protect them better. Another group exposed in crashes are MotoGP riders. Honestly, I've never cared much about bikes, but you can't deny how wild it is to race at those speeds with nothing but a helmet and a suit. The 2020 crash in Austria proved that. On lap 9, Johann Zarco and Franco Morbidelli made contact heading into turn 3. Both bikes flew across the track, right between Maverick Viñales and Valentino Rossi, missing them by inches. It might be the closest call I've ever seen. If either bike had hit them, it would have been tragic. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Back to four wheels, the DTM 2010 crash at the Adria circuit was just as insane. It was lap 1 on a wet track, and as cars fought for position, Alexander Premat's car ended up flipping and wrecked on the straight. He tried to pass Ralf Schumacher on the outside, got tapped, and slammed into the wall. Thankfully, he got out quickly, sore but safe. In motorsport, no matter the category, even the tiniest bump can lead to huge consequences. But what if I told you there's a race that mixes NASCAR-level crashes, F1 speeds, rally-style hills, wheel-to-wheel action, kangaroos on track, and Oktoberfest-level drinking? Yep, the Bathurst 1000 in Australia. It's a wild race with crazy speed, elevation changes, sketchy corners, and non-stop action. The most insane crash? Fabian Coulthard in 2000. On lap 1, packed in the middle of the grid, he bumped Jason Bargwanna, lost control, and rolled over several times. Amazingly, he climbed out unharmed. Again, huge thanks to roll cages. And since you've made it this far, here's a bonus: a Formula E crash. Yeah, I know, Formula E gets clowned on, but even those electric go-karts have their moments. In the 2021 Diriyah E-Prix, Alex Lynn made contact with Mitch Evans and went flying. The crash looked terrifying, but Lynn walked away fine, just dazed. After watching so many crashes, I kind of feel like I've had one myself. Think I missed any big ones? Want a part 2? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.